Now, it also says on March 15th, 2023, so today, Mr. Myrick and his assigned counsel had a conversation outside the presence of the court. Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Young Thug and his YSL RICO case. Now, Young Thug has a co-defendant in the YSL RICO case by the name of Jayman. Now, Jayman also had his own case going on outside of the YSL case. And as a result of that, he ended up revealing some information about Young Thug and YSL that literally blew their case up, man. He was the first one before all the plea deals that were signed to admit that YSL was a gang, and it still didn't help him in this case. Now, he's being accused of murder, and he had been accused of aggravated assault, several different robberies, and he's also one of the people who were allegedly responsible for the attack on YFN Lucci's life. So this dude is deeply ingrained in this YSL RICO case. But what brings some news about him today and is adding to the pool of craziness that's going on with this YSL case is this dude is trying to defend himself. Yes, in this case. So what I want to do is let's talk about his last case for a second before we get to that, right? Now, in his last case, he ended up catching a charge for a murder. He allegedly robbed some people, and when they tried to get their stuff back from him, shot him outside of a country club in the ritzy Buckhead area of Atlanta. I mean, a horrible situation.
Bruh.
So a dude who was a father and a husband ended up losing his life because Jayman didn't want to give him his ID. It's a crazy story, man. So what happened is Jayman ended up going to court, and there was a lot of fuss about how he can fight this case, and he threw in the and tried to throw Young Thug and him under the bus, and it still didn't work. Now, let's look at this news story real quick, and this will give you an idea of the charges that he was facing.
About an hour ago, they picked a jury four-person and began deliberating. Before that, they heard why prosecutors say that defendant Jayden Myrick is the killer. They also heard why the defense says it's someone else.
Small choices in life.
Prosecutor Christopher Sperry showed the jury the bullet that killed 34-year-old Christian Broder back in July 2018. Sperry said Jayden Myrick made the choice to fire that bullet into Broder as he left a wedding and was waiting on an Uber with friends and family.
Because of this.
That's a crazy situation, man. So essentially, Jayman was a person who shot somebody as they were waiting outside because he didn't want to give up. Well, it wasn't even a situation where the guy didn't want to give up his stuff. He had already robbed them. They gave away their stuff. And dude asked him, yo, you got our stuff, man. Can I at least get my ID? And then Jayman allegedly turned right around and shot him in the stomach. Later on, he died a week later in the hospital.
Choices. We are here today.
Myrick, then 17, faces more than a dozen charges, including felony murder, aggravated assault, gang activity, and armed robbery.
Can you kick him out?
Here. Broder's brother and a woman with the group that night,
person on the far left,
pointed to a photo of Myrick and said he was the person who robbed them and shot Christian Broder. But Myrick took the stand in his own defense and said he was nowhere near the Capital City Country Club that night.
Now, what's crazy is, and this is some more inside information about this, he ended up getting picked up, like immediately. Like they knew who it was him. And some of these things make me think that something's up with this dude. Like, y'all tell me, especially when we get to talking about how the YSL court case is going and how he's just continuing to throw Young Thug and them under the bus. But man, check the rest of this.
Night.
In the nighttime, I was at Meat House.
But two of his co-defendants said they were with him when he shot Broder. Myrick said they were trying to frame him, and his attorney pointed to another person as the shooter.
And they would have you believe that this could not be the man that did it.
Prosecutors said several witnesses identified Myrick as the shooter, and Myrick, an admitted gang member, was recorded ordering hits on some of them for snitching.
So that's 5 different.
So he had 5 different people come out and say, yeah, that was him, including 2 of the people who were alleged accomplices in the shooting. And he was still on the stand trying to deny it.
Witnesses that you have threatened harm to.
Now, we can cut to the chase because I'll tell you exactly how this situation ended. It ended with him being found guilty. Now, he got found guilty, but on top of that, during the course of the court case, this happened. And this is a tweet that comes from a local journalist there in the Atlanta area, a guy by the name of George Cheedy. Now, it says that breaking, man convicted on all counts in country club murder, right? And it says Jayden Myrick admitted on stand to being a YSL gang member and attempting to intimidate and threaten witnesses in this case. So basically, he was the first person when he was found guilty, back when this case was being tried, that said on record that YSL was a gang, and he even said that they were pressuring him and had groomed him into joining the gang and being the gangster. But I don't know if I can believe that, man, because when we get to the specifics about this other part, man, you're going to see where some of this just doesn't line up and how this dude might just be a little off. I don't know for a fact, y'all tell me. But before we get to that, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's look at this right here, man. Hopefully you guys see this. This is a new document that was added to the case file in this YSL RICO indictment, right? And you see that the defendant listed here is Jayden Myrick. Now that's AKA Jayman. Now Jayden Myrick is being accused of several things in this YSL RICO case, man. Some of them I can show you right here. All right, the first charge that he's being listed in is armed robbery. You see he's the only person listed in this count in the RICO conspiracy case, and it's against this person right here, and it said that he tried to rob somebody of their handbag or rob them of their handbag, right? But it doesn't end there. You also have this, you have Jayden Myrick, an associate of YSL, did commit the felony offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, with a firearm. And they're saying that this is in the same situation where he had the armed robbery, because you see the same person listed there, right? And this is the next charge right here, where it has him, Caleb Adams, and Dakemion Garlington. You see them all listed as YSL associates, and this is where they're saying that they tried to commit the felony offense of attempted murder upon a person, Rayshawn Bennett, aka YFN Lucci. Now, YFN Lucci is a rap star in the rap game who also has his own separate RICO case going on in Atlanta, man. And they also consider him a rival gang member. And they said that they tried to kill him by stabbing, and the stabbing at Rayshawn Bennett with the shank in violation of the laws of the state, right? So basically, he's one of the guys that's being accused of trying to kill YFN Lucci, the rap star, man. This is crazy, right? And his final charge in the RICO case is this one right here. It says Jayden Myrick and an associate of YSL did unlawfully commit the felony offense of possession of a weapon by an inmate while incarcerated in the Fulton County Jail. Now, I'm thinking this is when he was caught with the shank in the situation where they tried to allegedly take YFN Lucci's life, man. So this dude is listed all over the YSL RICO indictment. Bad for Young Thug and him that he already admitted that he feels like YSL is a gang and basically blew the case up from then on, man. After that, you had all these plea deals. You had other people who were thrown in it, who were taking these crazy deals. It was like the cat was out of the bag, right? But let's get to this, man. Let's actually talk about this right here, this motion that they filed today, and read it and its importance, because this is some wild stuff. So this motion, man, and I'm going to read line for line, right? Now it says in the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia, and this is the same Earl Glanville, the one that's been proceeding over this case for the YSL RICO indictment, right? You've seen him in court with Young Thug several times. It says motion for a Feretta hearing. Now I had to look that up. I was like, what in the world is a Feretta hearing? So in a quick Google search, the first thing that pops up is Feretta versus California. It says in a Feretta hearing, the judge will hear evidence to determine whether or not a defendant should be allowed to represent themselves in court. During this hearing, the judge will question the defendant to ensure they understand what it means to waive their right to have an attorney. Now, based on that, we get an understanding of the gravity of this situation and what this motion is really saying. They're saying they want a motion for a Feretta hearing, so somebody, and the defendant in this case, Jayden Myrick, aka Jayman, YSL Jayman, is able to defend himself in the case. Now, we've seen this happen in some widely publicized cases recently, but in all of those situations, the person seemed a bit off. And I don't know, this might not be outside of the realm of possibility. But man, let's read the rest of this. It says, comes now, defendant Jayden Myrick, by and through his undersigned counsel, and moves to the court for Faretta hearing in the above styled case, as defendant wants to exercise his right to represent himself. So, in plain English, he wants to represent himself in this case. I don't know if that has an effect on Young Thug and them. It just makes it look a little wild for him to be representing himself, because to be real, in his other case, he was already found guilty, right? Of shooting and killing somebody. I don't think he's going to be out of jail anytime soon. So maybe he's just trying to put on a show, or maybe he's really something's up here. You know what I mean? Now, it also says on March 15th, 2023, so today, Mr. Myrick and his assigned counsel had a conversation outside the presence of the court. During that conversation, Mr. Myrick expressed his desire to represent himself, as he knows his rights and has that right. So basically, dude had it out with his attorney, or they had a discussion. Not sure if it was a bad situation or what, but he decided that he wants to defend himself. Now, it finishes by saying the undersigned counsel requests the honorable court to conduct a Faretta hearing to determine if defendant Jayden Myrick is competent to represent himself in this trial. Now, what's wild about this, most people don't have the capacity to represent themselves in a criminal trial, especially one of this magnitude. A YSL RICO case, there's all sorts of murders, attempted murders and things going on here. He's looking at very serious charges with armed robbery and attempted murder, so it's looking like a bad situation. And this is just adding to this circus of a trial. I'm gonna keep it real here for a second, man. If this dude really thinks that he's gonna be able to defend himself in this court case and somehow win the court case, I don't know what, maybe he's reading some books in the law library and feeling a bit cocky or something like that. But man, in the past, this has never worked out in anybody's favor. But y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Is this YSL RICO case just become a circus at this point? You got one of the defendants trying to defend himself. You got all these things that have been happening in court, like somebody allegedly trying to pass drugs to Young Thug in the courtroom, right? Then you have one defendant, he tried to fight one of the bailiffs or something like that, or one of the deputies who were escorting him to the jail. So it's a crazy situation going on with this case. I'm going to just keep it real, man. It's something new every week. Bruh. Now with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell, so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.